Chronos The New Dawn.
Giant. Sleeping.
Dead Space. Chronos The New Dawn.
What happened here?
Dead Space. These two survival horror games are very similar in more ways than one, actually. Hello everybody, my name is King13/69 here, and today we're going to be talking about Chronos versus Dead Space, and which game is better. In my opinion, of course, because it might be different for other people. You might think otherwise. Let's get into it. Chronos did take some elements from Dead Space. I would say the suit, for example, the guns, you know, how you're switching weapon tools and stuff like that. But it's a little bit different how they work, and it's very similar as well. Maybe a little bit of the combat. Oh, also the gravitational boots. Other than that, Chronos is its entirely own thing. I respect it for that. Oh, I did forget also the upgrading. The upgrading did remind me of Dead Space a little bit. Or maybe Evil Within. Yeah. Now, Chronos takes place in Poland, and actually it takes place through multiple separate timelines. You go through the past, the present, and the future, and it's actually really interesting. You don't really know what the story is. The story takes you for a loop, keeps you guessing until the very end. And even at the end, you're still guessing what the game is. So a couple other playthroughs and reading notes. Reading notes in this game is very, very important, because reading the notes actually kind of helps you understand what the story is further after you beat the game, and also it actually ties everything in together. Some of the cutscenes that you see in the very beginning of the stages of the game, once you beat the game, all three different endings, you'll see some like major stuff, and you'll be like, holy crap.
Open up, please! Edward! Open up, Edward! Open up, please!
Dead Space. We are lost in space. Whoa. And it takes place in the year 2500. Yeah, we're far in the future in this one, baby. We board the Ishimaru, is it called the Ishimaru? We board upon the Ishi ship. I'll call it that for short form. Can never pronounce it. But yes, we board upon the Ishi ship, and we see some unsettling horrors have taken upon this ship. You, Isaac, are a mechanic, and you gotta help fix this ship with some tools that are also weapons. And that's where the Chronos takes inspiration from Dead Space and the weapon thing. A little bit, but not entirely. Anyways, that's besides the point. These dead bodies, you see them, and they actually turn into these aliens called necromorphs. And I can't lie, these guys are creepy. And the way to defeat them is actually pretty cool. You gotta cut off their limbs, and I think that's a very interesting and unique encounter and way to defeat enemies. I mean, yes, technically you shoot off a head, you know that, but even these guys without a couple heads or without some arms, they could still keep going. And it's almost like you gotta dissect them piece by piece. It's pretty cool. Now, Dead Space it has some peak moments, but I will tell you, it can get pretty ridiculous at some points. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here about Chronos versus Dead Space. I gave you a little brief summary of what the games are. Now, let's get into ranking them. Gameplay! Yes, alright, so we're going to start off with gameplay. I got to give the slight edge to Dead Space. Yes. In gameplay for Dead Space, you have just a little bit more variety with the punching, the stomping, and I will be honest, the weapon variety in Dead Space is a lot better with the flamethrower, some of the mines. Like, I love the weapons in Dead Space. In Chronos, they do have some pretty cool weapons, and I do love how it feels. I don't know what people are talking about, how it has no weight to it. Brother, The weapons in Chronos have so much weight to them. I'm holding my trigger down just to like get a feel of it. And it feels heavy, it feels nice. But the weapons in Chronos sometimes feel a bit too similar. I do like the addition of the mine bomb, the little pyro bomb, and the flamethrower thing. You use like, okay, you go like, yeah, stay away from me. I do like those additions. I think Chronos did that pretty well with the weapon and the stunning mechanic. Awesome. But their weapons feel a bit too similar. The only one I actually saw myself using most of the time was the pistol. And then if I ever felt like switching, I would switch to the AR, the 3-round burst one, because that felt the most different. The shotgun felt a bit too similar sometimes. But then you switch to the double barrel shotgun and it's like, oh, that was pretty fun, but it feels weak still. So, gameplay, I gotta give the slight edge to Dead Space. Art direction. Now this one, I easily, in my opinion, goes to Chronos. The way they, like, some of the things in this game are very symmetrical, very artistic. I don't know how to, I'll just show you pictures. Like, I can't explain it other than I just love the artistic design, the symmetry, the way they incorporated a world being destroyed, and then also like in Christmas time and using the lights. I love that stuff. I thought it was awesome. It was beautiful. Now, this doesn't mean Dead Space doesn't have art direction. It absolutely does. They went for a more realistic, gritty, dark zombie, alien experience, and it felt lived in, the horror experience, you know? But I feel Chronos is a little more artistic in the direction it went with, I mean, like this tower, for example, you know what I mean? Dead Space, the one artistic thing I loved in Dead Space was the design of the Maker. Like, I love that thing, and it looks so cool, very unique, very awesome. But this point goes to Chronos. Atmosphere. Ooh. Now, technically, this one can go hand in hand with art direction, but not really, because it's, well, it's a mix of horror with what you're hearing and seeing in front of you. So, atmosphere, I also give the slight edge to Chronos. In Dead Space, I love the atmosphere. Space, busted-ass ship, you know, cool-ass planet. Awesome. But in Chronos, I enjoyed the atmosphere just a little bit more. Actually, no. Atmosphere, I give to Dead Space. Yeah. Atmosphere, I'm giving the point to Dead Space. Although I loved Chronos' art direction and the artistic style in what they did. Chronos felt too linear, and there's nothing wrong with a linear game. I love linear games. But in the atmosphere, you always were going one way. So some of the choices in the game were limited, you know what I mean? Like going to certain areas and stuff. And the atmosphere around, oh man, I can't choose. Okay. Atmosphere. I can't really decide, so both games get a point. I like the artistic design of Chronos' atmosphere better. I feel more scared in Chronos. I felt more terrified walking through Chronos, looking around. I enjoyed seeing new things, everything destroyed, the rubble, some of the pieces floating in the air. It just felt cool and lived in. It felt very cool and very creepy at sometimes. Now, Dead Space, I love that atmosphere a little more than Chronos in the sense, not in the artistic design, but in the sense I like exploring the ship more than I do exploring the streets of Chronos. Because in Dead Space, you actually are going back and forth to places. You can re-explore places you've already been through. It's almost, in a way, a Metroidvania, because you're going back to places. You're going to find yourself going back to places. You're going to see a difference in those places as well. I enjoy traversing through the ship, the Ishi ship, more than the Chronos streets. But I felt Chronos Street's atmosphere was creepier and cooler than the vibes of Dead Space. So, both get a point. still tied game. Horror. Yes, how scary the game is. This, I have to say, goes to Chronos, and it's a no-brainer for me. I never once felt scared in my Dead Space playthrough. Yeah, I've never seen any Dead Space gameplay, never seen any of that until I played the remake for myself for the first time. I never actually felt scared, never had a jump scare either, and I always felt powerful in Dead Space. That's the thing. It never scared me to that point because I always had too much ammo, too much weapons. I always felt strong. Even with my melee, my punches would knock zombies out. Necromorphs, you know, the aliens. I always felt too strong in Dead Space. Chronos, on the other hand, this game, even with the weapons you have, you feel slow, you feel sluggish. So you're actually kind of scared, you're more vulnerable in these moments. Not only that, I've been jump scared multiple times. The shotgun shows. Oh. Why? Like, the game got me good. It actually got me good. I didn't think it would get me, but also, the thing that got me the most with the game was the sound design. Main character! Yes, alright. So we go to the main character. The Traveler in Chronos. You really don't know who you are until after you do all 3 playthroughs. So, I can't really give the Traveler any points, because you kind of are the Traveler in a way. Like, she's questioning everything going around her. What's going on? You're kind of experiencing things at the same time. She doesn't even know herself either. So I cannot give the Traveler a point. Isaac, however, if it was Isaac from Dead Space original, it would be a tie, because both of these characters don't do anything or say anything until like the end of the game. But Dead Space Remake, Isaac definitely gets the point. He has more character to him. He actually talks. Yes, wow. With Isaac, you feel some of the desperation moments, and I don't want to spoil it. I mean, I kind of technically spoiled everything already, huh? But you feel the desperation in Isaac and some of the heavy moments. Example, when you find out Nicole is dead. Also, I'm going to give Dead Space an extra point for that, because they do something very cool for, they spell out that Nicole is dead with the beginning of every chapter. Very unique, and I hope more games do that. They give us a little secret like that, you know? Dead Space gets 2 points for this round. And now, we go to the final round. The story. Both stories are fantastic. I know fans are going to hate me for this. Both stories are fantastic. But I thought one story was slightly better over the other. And it was Chronos. I thought Chronos was the better story. Now let me explain. Hey, we're going to get into heavy spoilers, by the way. In Dead Space, I loved everything. From exploring the Ishii ship, to trying to find out Nicole, to trying to help out everybody, and then even helping out the Maker in the end. What I did not like from Dead Space was that awful betrayal by, what's her name? She's so forgettable. Kidman? What, like, I can't remember her because she's so forgettable. That betrayal was so unnecessary. It really was. It genuinely was. They just wanted to keep the project going. I'm evil to be evil. Blah, blah, blah. I get paid. Whatever. I didn't like that, man. I gotta be honest. I thought it wasn't lazy. I don't think it was lazy. I never think any writing's lazy. I just didn't like it. I personally did not like it. I wish they did something better with her. And then at the end, when she gets slapped by this alien trying to escape us, she expects us to save her?
Last warning, Isaac. I mean it. Isaac.
Shut your mouth, mate.
Pissed off. I was cheering when that alien slammed her. Yeah, I thought her writing was bad. I can't lie. So yeah, I won't lie, I was not a fan of that. What I was a fan of Dead Space Remake was the secret alternative ending that they did. Loved that. That was awesome. Gave you another reason to give you another playthrough. Thought it was awesome. Loved it. But Chronos now, in my opinion, had such a fantastic story. I know a lot of people don't like games that don't have an actual conclusion to the end. Almost, this game had a cliffhanger. I'll be honest. It technically has a cliffhanger and not a true end, to be honest. But the story in this game is so good, I can forgive it. Reading the notes in this game made me realize a lot of things at the end of the game. Also, some of the cutscenes at the very beginning of the game do not make sense until you beat the game twice. And once you do, I love that. I love games that do that. It's like, oh wow, it made me realize something. Now that I actually know what's going on, that's crazy, you know what I mean? It's one of those moments you found a deep meaning to, like a hidden secret. Now that you know what's going on and you're playing through that again, it's like it's almost like Silent Hill in a way. Almost like Silent Hill in a way, how you can change what you know because you already know it happened, right? I love that. So in Chronos, there's 3 different endings, and the story is a roller coaster of emotions and just plot twists. A roller coaster of plot twists and a roller coaster of emotions, and I love it. I love games or movies or stories that have just multiple plot twists. It keeps you second guessing all the time. So in Chronos The New Dawn, they are trying to figure out what happens to what starts the apocalypse, what starts this infection, right? And it's actually very interesting. You are also trying to figure that out. But once you figure it out at the end, it's like, holy crap. You are the reason why the infection starts. You're going back in time. You're starting a loop. The game is a loop, and it's a never-ending loop, no matter what ending you get as well. Except for ending C, which leaves us guessing, is that going to be a sequel to Chronos, or is it just the cycle continues in a different way? So the Traveler, the entire time that we play as, is the person we are trying to save. We are trying to save ourselves. We find out the truth. I know I'm going to be butchering the way I explain this story, so I highly recommend you watch this video right here. I'm going to link it in my description. He explains the story very well. So you're the Traveler. You don't know who inside you are as a Traveler, but you seem like it got like a system reboot, almost like Soma. You're trying to find out what started this infection, what started the apocalypse in Chronos. You go through the future, the past, and the present. You have multiple different theories throughout the game because you actually don't know what's going on. But at the end of the game, you figure it out. The notes make sense. The previous dialogue encounters make sense. And the previous cutscenes make sense. It is beautiful. All ties in together like a beautiful knot. So you're going throughout the game. You're trying to figure out what is going on. You have this other guy. I forgot his name. The Warden. That's his name. The Warden. And he pretty much is like the very first guy of all the travelers and stuff like that. The very first one. Very knowledgeable, and he knows quite a lot, and it leaves you second guessing. Oh, you can't trust this guy, really. You really can't. And at the end of the game, you definitely cannot trust him, because you find out that he's holding a person hostage, a barely alive person hostage, trying to save her from different timelines, but it just keeps restarting the cycle over and over. And you find out that you are that person that is locked up there. You are Veronica. And he keeps bringing you back over and over, trying to find better versions and saving Veronica. So you have choices at the end of the game after you beat this man. And by the way, I have some theories about who this Warden is. Now, one of the endings, you see that the Warden, you let the Warden go with Veronica, and you see that they open a time loop. They go back in the past. Veronica gets sick again, and the infection starts all over. You never were trying to find out who started the infection, because we are the ones who started the infection by keeping this continuous loop going. We are trying to feed this man's delusion that he can try to save her when there is no saving. Fate is written, so he can't save her. The other ending, you choose to kill the Warden, and you send Veronica back in time. And this is my favorite ending. The cutscene in one of the very beginnings of the game, you hear banging on the door. Edward, Edward, let me in.
Open up, please.
And this is the ending where you find out Veronica is banging on Edward's door. He lets her in, and she spreads the infection once again. And I love this. One of the notes, it talks about how Dr. Zibbert, a doctor who's trying to stop this disease as well, he ends up getting merged with a couple of the people. And I believe this is the ending where Veronica merges with Dr. Zibbert, merges with Angela, who is Edward's girlfriend at the time. And then we have a secret third ending where you get all the notes, you collect all the collectibles, you save yourself and you save Veronica, and you go back in the past, give her your hand, and that's the end of the game. It ends off like that, leaving you guessing, is it another loop, or is it a start to a new chapter? And I think that's so great. I think it's fantastic, and man, it left my mind blown. So yes, Chronos gets the last point. And yes, with that being said, the points are tallied up. Honestly, even if the points were tallied up and Dead Space had more points, I still give the game to Chronos. I enjoyed it more, man. I just enjoyed it more. I felt more scared in that game. The game was awesome. The story blew my mind away, and I love stories that leave you guessing all the time and giving you theories. And that's why I love Silent Hill. I think the Silent Hill games right now are top notch. And that's another video I'm going to be talking about. Newcomer playing Silent Hill games. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. Comment down below if you agree with this list. If you agree with this point ranking. If you agree with my decision. Tell me what game you think is better. If you believe Dead Space is better. If you believe Chronos is better. Let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, I shall see you everybody in the next video. Peace and love, and God bless.